Hey everybody, happy Friday. So I know what you're thinking, that I didn't shave. Here's the crazy thing though, I actually just shaved like 2 minutes ago, and then I looked up in the mirror and miraculously I had a full beard. April Fools. No, of course, I did this in honor of the classic film Evan Almighty, in which Steve Carell thinks he's Noah, and or God asked him to build an ark. But anyway, he can't shave his beard because it keeps growing back. So because we're doing the Bible and the Noah and all that stuff, I thought it'd be a nice little tribute if I'm just lazy. Is really the what it comes down to. But anyway, so we're chapter 11 of Genesis. Let's see what happens. They just divided all the lands and the languages and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Okay, so forget what I just said, because apparently I was delirious during the last chapter, in which he said that there were lots of different languages and they all got their own land. Now there's one language. Probably could have used some kind of editor / proofreader for this book. No, no. We'll figure it out as we go along. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land, not an airplane, but a meadow, found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. So this is a nice plain. We should settle here and build some buildings. And they said to one another, "Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly." I guess that's how you make brick. I've never made brick, but I guess you burn them. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. So instead of stone, they used these bricks. So maybe this was the first brick house. If you hear anybody say Shinar is a brick house, that's where this comes from. And slime they had for mortar, and not mortar like in Lord of the Rings, but mortar that you use to connect the bricks. And they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower." They just start out with a village. It's like, you got a plain. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Start with a village. If that works out, you build up to a city and a tower. But you're going to go right for the city and the tower. But you know what? Sometimes when you dream big, you reach for the stars. You fall among the planets. So, whose top may reach unto heaven, very high tower, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So let's name this place, because we're having a lot of children and they're really spreading out. So if they ever need our address, we need something to tell them. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. Okay, so he's like the overseer of the project, coming down, checking out. Okay, those girders are in place. Yep, like that. Which the children of men built. And the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one." People are one? People is one? That's a tricky one. "And they have all one language, and this they begin to do, this building of the city, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do." So the mind's the limit, sky's the limit. Whatever the mind can imagine, man will be able to do. Man wants to fly, man can fly. He'll need some equipment, but he can do it. "Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language." Let's stir things up a bit and make them confused, "that they may not understand one another's speech." So God's up there, he's bored. He doesn't have anything to do. He's created everything, so he's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to give them different languages and really screw up everything down there. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. The ones who were on the plain built the city. "Therefore is the name of it called Babel." Okay, which there was a movie called Babel with Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett that covered this story. Because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter. French is the first one he came up with when he was confounding them. Did you ever imperatif past ugly, weird language. From that, yeah. So these are the generations of Shem. There's no segue here. We're going into more generations. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. Okay? And Shem, try to keep up, and Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters, more sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 530 years and begat Salah when he was 35. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters. You can see the timelines shrinking as people start to not eat as healthy as they used to, and they're dying earlier and earlier. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber, and Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years, same age, and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. These are all names we've heard already, but they're just backing up and telling us how long they lived. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Reu. R-E-U, I don't know, it's Reu. This is some of the French I was talking about. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years, very young, and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 230 years and begat Serug. You can feel free to nose out during this part, and I'll wake you when we get to something interesting. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters, less and less. And Nahor lived 9 and 20 years and begat Terah. When he had the kid at 29, that was the equivalent of nowadays somebody having a baby at 13 and going on Maury. So you can imagine how controversial that probably was at the time. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor. Nahor was already begat. Wait, Nahor begat Terah and then Terah begat Nahor? That sounds dubious. How does that work? Maybe it was Nahor Jr., but they didn't put the junior in here. And Haran. And now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran, recap, and Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur was the name of an actual place, of the Chaldees, which is probably a larger area. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. They didn't propose, they just took them. And the name of Abram's wife was Sarai, close to Sarah, but weird, Sarai. And the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah. And the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. Okay, quick pop quiz. Just kidding. But Sarai was barren. She had no child. That's sad. And Terah, she probably would have named it something weird like Keflusabem or something. Anyway, so probably best. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son. This is like one of those riddles or puzzles you get in logic class. You have to figure out, well, if Haran was Nahor's son's son, then how was he his grandfather at the same time? And Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and I hope you make enough for Thanksgiving dinner. This is a crowd. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. Okay. I don't know how that tower is coming along, but apparently not too well if they're moving all back to Canaan. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Haran was a person, I think. So Terah must have died while he was in her. That's a way to go out. But anyway, that's the end of chapter 11. Some more begatting. I know you're thrilled about it. We got to be getting some more juicy stuff soon. I'm imagining Jesus is probably going to be making his entrance in the next 200 to 300 chapters, so we have that to look forward to. Yeah, have a lovely Friday, and hope you've got great plans for the weekend. And if you don't, that's okay too. Lounging around has its place. So, Enjoy some baseball. I'm just going to wrap this up. I'll see you next week.